Hey, True Believers, Anglin here with another batch of new comic book reviews. This is where I review a whole bunch of books that are still on the shelf at the time of this recording. So go out, check them out if you'd like. We're highlighting an independent comic book this time, the Death to the Army of Darkness issue number 1. We're going to check out Justice League for DC, Daredevil for Marvel, and even a bonus Marvel book in Gwen Stacy number 1. So with all that aside, let's get this party started. Death to the Army of Darkness number 1. Let me tell you something. This is how I feel about the Army of Darkness comic books. They're very much like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I've read good, I've read bad, I've read horrible. Although I gotta say, I've never read excellent. I'm still waiting for that from Army of Darkness. In all honesty, I'm still waiting for that from the Army of Darkness. This book is A-okay. It's nothing special. We start off, we have Ash, of course. Oh, no, actually, it starts off with a little cult thing going on. And they're finally saying we're going to be getting the chosen one. And then we go to Ash, and he's at S-Mart, and he's telling his story to this kid. And, of course, they get attacked by Deadites. And then there's a surprise where we see it's Multiverse Ashes. Yeah, that's all the people on the cover there. They're Multiverse Ashes. So depending on how you deal with all that kind of stuff is going to kind of help you out on what we're doing here, what we're reading here. Look, it's completely harmless fun. That's probably the best thing I could say about this particular issue. It's not great, but it's not going to hurt you. You know, if you read it, you're like, oh my gosh, I wasted my money and my life. No, that's not exactly the reaction to this one. It's Army of Darkness, but just not quite as good. I mean, really the best, I don't know, how would I say this? Okay, so say you made yourself absolutely the most perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, it just managed to absolutely have the perfect blend of both. And you eat it and you're like, wow, that's really good. In the end of the day, it's still just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I could still use a steak or something. And that's reading this comic book. This is absolutely perfect for what it is, and what it is pretty damn average. To tell you the truth, I can't say anything more than that. I wish I could, because I like I said, I'm really waiting for that great Army of Darkness comic book. Unfortunately, it just seems like we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer than Ash and the Death to the Army of Darkness. Justice League number 41, man, I sung the praises really loudly for Justice League 40. Venditti's first issue on the title just came out the gate running, and it was something to behold. So how does does it hold up? I guess is the big question. Is it still as exciting? Is it still something that makes you go, woohoo, I can't wait for the next issue? Yes! They've really managed to up the ante here. Not only do we have the Eradicator, but of course we got the Daxamites with all the weaknesses stripped out of them. And they are out to kick the JLA's butt. Seriously, actually destroy the world. There are a couple of things where I'm like, well, wait a second, hold on. These guys have the same powers as Superman, but they do things that Superman can't do as well. Some of them to the Justice League. Okay, I'm just going to break it down. One of them goes faster than the Flash. And, no, I'm not seeing that. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe if he had the element of surprise or something like that, but Flash was looking dead on at this guy coming at him, so I think at least there should have been a race before anything happened to the Flash, but it was like really out of nowhere, kaboom kind of thing. Yeah, the story's awesome. I love the fact Wonder Woman right here in this panel puts the lasso and says, how can we defeat you? And he's like, you can't. I thought that was a really good, that just kind of said, kaboom, your day's done. You might as well leave now. Just curl up and die. Do you have any idea how many anonymous henchmen I've beaten? You should just lay down right now. That's basically what the guy said, and it was pretty cool. I'm enjoying this series so far. I don't see it really waning. I hope not anyway. You know, it could be, okay, we wrote a good first issue, second issue, everybody's hooked, but is it really that good? So far, I can say yes. I will say this. It's missing that, well, what was it? Was it Morrison that did the JLA stuff when it was out? You had a chance for everyone to shine. And so far, that's what this is missing. And granted, I understand where we are. Right now, we're still at the, oh, woe is me, everything's bad kind of stage of the story where, like right here, the Flash is getting his ass whipped. So I understand we don't see that, but we still need those moments where others are shining, where you could see that these guys are a force to behold. And it's the Justice League, but that's my one gripe, is that they were defeated way too quick. I understand you basically facing 5 Supermans, but these guys are not the Flash. You got Wonder Woman, you got Green Lantern. These guys are not weak, but the writing kind of makes them seem that way. Now, granted, we have did I put the entire issue here? It looks like I did. But granted, we have Man Up Xanadu step in and help him out, and the ending, the cliffhanger, is really something. It was something where I was like, oh, okay. Okay, in the back of your head, everything's going to be okay, and it's just, this one really does make you ask how. Daredevil number 17, Through Hell, part, what are we on, 7 or something like that? It's been a bit, isn't it? Okay, so I have not been kind to this book recently, in all honesty. Like, for the first few issues, I was on board. But the last few issues, man, Chip dropped the freaking ball big time, man. I have not been a fan. This book does pick up. This book is good. Hopefully the next book will follow suit and it'll remain as good as this one. And granted, I do know that number 18 is the new book that came out this week. I just, I'm reading them in order. You'll probably get a review next week of that one. So this is basically a lot of aftermath. Elektra stole $1 billion from the bad guys. What are those business twins? I'm sorry, I forget their names. The ones that were able to beat the teetotal hell out of Kingpin, and Kingpin's walking around like he's weak for some reason. And this is Matt going around basically picking up the pieces. This is all about the fallout of what's happened in the last few issues. And it's all set up, but it's interesting character work, and that's where I think this book truly shines. Not that we can't use Daredevil action in a book called Daredevil, but seriously, you've got mobs kind of positioning themselves to see who's going to take over. Matt, of course, is giving... I agree with Foggy when Matt's here saying, but I've changed. He's like, yeah, right, sure. Okay, go on and do your Daredevil thing. Because Matt's like, no, I'm not Daredevil anymore. I'm another guy who wears basically the same thing, except for I'm in black like on the TV show, so isn't that different or something? I don't know what he's trying to pull, but basically, if I were Foggy, I wouldn't buy into it either. Especially, come on. He's been there. He's done that. He bought the T-shirt. He went home. Seriously. He's heard it before. So, and that's one of the things, actually, that was my gripe about why this book had kind of turned a bad corner, is it seems like Chip Zdarsky has forgotten that there's a history to these characters. These characters have been through a lot of what he's putting them through already. We've seen it. We've done it. It just isn't there. It's like when we went through Star Trek's 2 and 3 where Spock died, he became okay with his being human, and then when Kirk had his step up to bat, he wanted to show Spock having trouble with his Vulcan versus human half. Sorry, been there, done that. That's what we're getting here, unfortunately, and it makes me wonder, what kind of research did Chip do before he got onto the story? That being said, and I know I'm regressing here, but the book has improved. This one is better than the last two. Once again, I guess I'm just reiterating, so I'm going to close out here on Daredevil. I just hope the next books continue the upward turn. Sometimes I set aside 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to talk about these books. Because basically, okay, that's all you really need. Unless you're going to delve into details. And I want you guys to enjoy and read these books. That's the whole point. Let me say a little bit of something, and if you like the review, maybe you'll go check it out. If you don't, okay, maybe you won't. I understand that. Or you're just reading to go, haha, you're wrong about this because... So I don't do a lot of detail. I want you to find out stuff for yourself by reading it. That being said, I don't know if I could really do 2 minutes of this book. It's Gwen Stacy, as if Marvel could not afford the Nancy Drew IP. So they figured, hey, we've got Gwen Stacy. Let's make her Nancy Drew. We'll set up her detective skills by having her talk to her father, and she could help solve a case. And then we're going to send her off into the world, and you'll understand that she could be a detective. That's how this is played out. So you've got the enforcers, Montana and all that kind of stuff, Ox, and they are setting Captain Stacy up. And because of Gwen, he decides not to fight it. He does, they threaten her. So she's like, uh-oh, I think I need to do something about it. And that's going to be the next issue. There you go. That's all there needs to be said. Is it good? It's all right. It's not bad. It almost comes off slice of life-ish. But if they're going to do this kind of book, I would say they should turn a little bit towards a noir style rather than what they have here. I think that would be a bit better. As is, it's okay. It's not going to break any records or anything. I don't think this is going to win any Spirit Awards, but it's not going to offend you either. So there you go, gang. That is the reviews. And as always, I kind of line them up here from the best to worst, in my opinion. I would definitely put Justice League number 41 as the best of the ones I reviewed here on this video. And then Daredevil, the Army of Darkness, and the Gwen Stacy. Now, there are no bad books. There's just okay books, ones that are put out there and that just won't really offend you or anything. This is one of those books where, like with Daredevil, it's a book that I pick up on a regular basis, so I'm just like, okay, and I put it down. And of all the issues I've read, this is not going to be one that I'm going to remember until I read it again. But I really don't see myself revisiting Gwen Stacy, to tell you the truth. I probably won't even get issue number 2, physical copy anyway. Although if my daughters were into this kind of thing rather than anime, it's probably the kind of thing I would buy for them. But that's just my opinion. What was yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, click like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you haven't done it already, making sure that your notifications are set to all for both Google and YouTube. And turn on one of the videos that you see popping up right around here. I think you'll enjoy those as well. And if you do, go on over to Patreon. Drop $1 in the till or to Ko-Fi. And helps keep the lights on, helps keep making videos for you. Thank everybody who's already done that. To everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.